I've got only like 5 hours sleep today. I feel so tired. Oh, that's nothing. I've got like 3 hours of sleep today, so I've got 3 to 4 hours of sleep all past week, and this will probably also because I have so much work to do that's actually insane. Wow, impressive. Keep up the good work. I'm sorry, but since when sleeping less became praiseworthy? I'm sorry, got into character way too much, but the point still remains. Since when sleeping less became praiseworthy? It's such a toxic conversation they just had. And similar to this conversation is a phrase, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I do not know how many times I used it, but probably I couldn't count, and that is one of those things that are normal in society but are not actually normal, that they should not be normal. I remember the first time I started using this phrase, I'll sleep when I'm dead, was around when I was 13 or 14, and I started my journey with toxic productivity since then. So I think a lot of people know what toxic productivity is, but in case you do not know, or in case you're like not sure, here it is. Toxic productivity is when work takes over your thoughts and time, leaving little room for rest, hobbies, or relationships. It's the constant need to be doing something productive, even if it's unhealthy. It's way more than just hard work. It's when you feel guilty for taking a break or view rest as laziness, and when you only want to do purposeful activities. After saying this just now, I realized that I just described 70% of my life. So I'm not just making this video to cross it off my to-do list. I actually need help too. So how do we become toxically productive? How do we get to that point? What is the cause of all of this? Let's just dive into that. First one is hustle culture. I think you understand why, how, and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna elaborate because I'm gonna be talking a lot of this video. So let's just get moving. Second one is that we are taught that grinding is just a good work ethic. But in fact, Cambridge Dictionary says that grinding is, for example, something that is grinding causes people or activities to lose energy and spirit, or it's something harsh and grating, or oppressive and seemingly without an end. There is nowhere in this definition that it says it's good work ethic. It says harsh, it says something negative and something like that. It doesn't say grinding, it's a good work ethic. A third one is personal insecurities, because if all these people around me are working so much and they are doing every project and they taking part in everything and they participate in this and this and this and this, I should also, because what will they think of me, you know? I should give my 100% to these projects that, you know, because other people do. Because what will they think of me when I will not do something like things that they're doing? I need to, I need to. Which leads us to fourth one, which is competition. Because social media presents this competition because someone lives this life, they achieve these goals, and we feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I should do enough. I should do this, and this. And I just, oh my God. You know, or when someone like, oh, I'm 18 years old and I'm a millionaire, or I have this, or I have a family, or I have this, something that your goal is, and you're like, it doesn't make us feel positive, it doesn't make us, in most cases, it doesn't make us feel like, woohoo, great, you know? Yeah, we can look at it from that perspective of like, oh, this person achieved my dream, so it means it's achievable. Oh my God, that's so great, so amazing, you know, I'm so happy for this person. I strive to be as that person. But mostly we don't. We see it as competition, and that's why it's so negative. You know, next one is that from young age we're taught that working hard is a virtue and resting is laziness. Because there are also a lot of like phrases and stuff people used to say to me when I was growing up, like, oh, you need to work hard, you need to do that, you need to do, you know, and all those phrases. I cannot remember any of English because I didn't grow up in English speaking country, but in the culture I grew up in, there have been and still are a lot of phrases of like, oh, you need to work harder. When someone works harder, I don't want to translate them literally into English because they wouldn't make sense. But in English, there are a lot of them too. They just escaped my mind for a little bit. They just walking around somewhere. They're gonna come back to my mind, maybe, And if English is not your first language, you can remember from, I think in every culture, there's like this thing of like, work hard, you need to put in the hours, you need to do that and that, And we have been taught this from a very young age, which is actually tragic. And this belief that working hard is a virtue and rest is laziness is supported by the culture, by social media, by the people around us. And that's why we feel like productivity is actually a defining trait for us. Like, if we work that amount of hours, that means that we are so bad today. But if we work that amount of hours, I'm better today than someone, or like worse than someone, We put productivity into defining ourselves. And just take a minute to think, how stupid thing it is to define our worth, or, something like that. So stupid. But we all do it. We still all do it. The last one is that a lot of people stay busy to avoid dealing with anxiety or any negative emotions, just to escape them, to avoid them. They like, I need to stay busy, The last one feels like personal attack. It's so relatable. But anyway, before I'm gonna tell you anything else, let's look at the signs. How to recognize that you are toxically productive, that you are, in this grinding mindset. First one is that you are constantly tired. Second one is that you feel guilty about not having enough done. There are things you need to do on your to-do list. Maybe today you woke up and wrote like 1-page list of things you need to do, and then you only done like 2 of them, and you're like, not enough. Yeah, of course not. Because if you're gonna overwhelm yourself with 50, 100 or even 20 to-do lists to do things on your to-do list, well, don't expect it to overwhelm you and for you to start procrastinating, to just avoid the feeling of overwhelming. Don't expect that. No. Yeah. I mean, expect that, because that is what's happening. I feel like no one gets my jokes. That's fine. I get my jokes. Third one is that you neglect your own self-care. I could give you examples, but self-care is actually very different for everybody. For me, for example, I like relaxing and playing the guitar. Haven't played it in a few days because I'm like, I need to do this done. And when I will get this done, I will certainly have time for guitar. Or I have this dream of like reading all the Harry Potter series book, and I always tell myself that no. When I'll be, a little freer, when I won't be that busy, when I will have time, when I will, and so on, I will read them for sure. I will buy them like a nice edition, and I will read them, and I will enjoy this. But for now, no. In my mind also, I have this picture of me being like 60, only then having free time, being 60, somewhere sitting in front of a beach and having all these books with me, and like, finally, I have free time and reading, and that scares me. Honestly, that scares me. So I'm a professional at making this video, because I know all the information about toxic productivity, because I'm the person who struggles from it. Even though sometimes I make self-destructive jokes about it. First one is that you feel irritable and restless. Next one is that you obsess over productivity metrics of how much you have done today, how many hours did you spend on this thing, how many hours on this thing, what did you do, how can you do more, how can you do that. When you start your own like social media page or something like that, and you start posting, and you get obsessed over analytics. Like some people get so obsessed over analytics, they're like, who watched, what gender, from our country, how many minutes or seconds have they watched the intro, what the, you know, they get obsessed over it. The same thing, and the same way you get obsessed over how much work have you done, how much you spent on that and that, you know, you understand, because I already kind of talked about it. 6.1 is that you're only interested in purposeful activities. And that is so relatable to me, because when someone asks me to go like hang out with my friends or something like that, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, oh, it won't bring me anything, you know, it won't bring me any benefits. I'm just gonna catch up with people I've known for years and I see every week at least, so there's no need for me. There's no benefit for me. I'm searching for the things to do with a benefit, you know, and I'm like, maybe I should watch this funny, I thought about like rewatching Victorious, because I just love that TV show, but I'm like, there's nothing beneficial for me in that. I should really watch a podcast or like something that, or educational video to relax. And I'm like, it gets a little too much, because I'm at the point where I try to turn something on which will also educate me in times where I'm trying to relax, and I'm like, there's a little bit too much of you, Vitalina, everywhere. So just back off and let me watch Victorious. I haven't watched Victorious, but I have rewatched Buccaneers the second time, so that's a progress. That's a progress, yeah. And the last one, conveniently, is not being able to rest. As I said, maybe when you have your rest time or your break, you're like, oh, I need to get more information in. I need to watch a podcast or read a book or listen to this or to the lecture or do this. You know, you always in hustle. You always there are always things you need to do. They're endless. They're always there. Okay, on the topic of the word rest, somehow this word became a bad negative word, which means laziness or like failure or something like that, which strikes me as something odd because of very well-known benefits resting has. Like, it reduces your stress, it improves your mood, it improves your creativity and stuff like that, and so many other things. But we are prone to believe right now that laziness is something negative, that laziness is something, you know, only failures or people that don't achieve their goals do. And it's so funny how we avoid the word rest. For example, I even caught myself doing that. If some of my friends call me, and I actually got the courage to watch a TV show which doesn't bring me anything. And I'm putting this in quotes because it does bring me something. It entertains me, you know, it helps me to relax. It doesn't have to bring me anything, you know. I don't have to be a academic weapon, like sucking in information all the time. I need to relax also. And when they like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm pausing the TV show. I'm like, oh, I'm reading. You're not. I was not reading. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? I'm reading, you know. Or when someone comes to my room, I'm switching from TV show to a book or to an article just to avoid seeming like I'm resting, you know. And also this word rest means like something bad, you know, in workplace or even school. I remember, again, when I was still at school, people avoided the word rest. They were always busy. The teacher asked, who could do that? Who could help me out with like thing or that? And they're like, oh, we're all busy, you know. And she's like, don't you rest? And we all just said, no, resting. Well, we don't have time to rest. We need to... Hello, it was like 9th grade. What do you actually have to do at 14 years old after school? Maybe 15, I don't know how old I was in 9th grade. Like, what are you talking about? And because of this idea that busy is cool and rest is bad, people suffer. Okay, you know what? It doesn't really matter how many times I'm gonna tell you this information over and over and over and over again, because there's always gonna be a part of us that's gonna be like, so what? I'm gonna be a little toxically productive, but if that means I'm gonna achieve my goals faster and work more, I'm okay with that. I don't really care about anything of that. Like, I don't really care, you know? So, for this little parts of us that everyone has, I'm just gonna list why it is so dangerous. First one is it reduces productivity, ironically, because there have been studies and they showed that we could only be productive for 4 hours a day. 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours, you know? And if we're gonna put 3 to 4 hours on the projects we need to do, on the work we need to do, that's enough. That is totally enough. Like straight 4 hours, but with breaks of working, that's great, you know? But no, we need to overwork ourselves. We need to work 12-hour day or like pull all-nighters or stuff like that. And well, when you do that, your productivity decreases. The next things are burnout, increase in anxiety and depression, which leads to increase in loneliness. The next one is that with each day, you get more and more and more obsessive with your work, and you can't stop thinking about your work. And actually, it's not okay when you're on a train somewhere or hang out with your friends and you're like, oh, I need this work to do, I need this to do. I thought it is completely okay when I'm hanging out with my friends and I'm putting notes, like little script ideas or something like that. I'm like, oh, thinking of how this will work, how this will work. It actually shows an inability to rest, an inability to stop thinking about work, an inability to put a boundary between you and your work. Yeah. So I think a lot of people have that. And if you till this moment thought it's okay, it's a how people call it passion, it's not. It's just you're obsessed with your work so much. Next one is sleep deprivation, and then poor eating choices, and also chronic stress, loss of social connection, neglecting loved ones, decrease in creativity. And all of this results in you tying your productivity to your self-worth and to your identity. So how many hours a day you worked is actually becomes your identity, which is, yeah, take a minute to think about it. So let's now go to the positive part of this video, where I'll tell you how to get rid of that toxic productivity, how to get your life back, and how to be more productive. Because toxic productivity, if you didn't get it yet, doesn't make you more productive. Makes you more exhausted? Yeah, for sure. Doesn't make you more productive. So let's get into it. So here are 7 things you can do to just get rid of that toxic productivity, especially before 2025. Just let's all become healthily productive before 2025. I know it's a dream that will never come true, but I mean, one can try, right? I'm also sitting like a question mark, so let's improve my posture also. First one is, surprise, surprise, create work boundaries. It sounds a little easier than it actually is, but it's not that hard. You just choose time where you work and time when you don't. Again, I know it sounds easy, but it's not. But you really need to sit down and figure out what time do you maybe like study or work from to. For example, for me, I have this app which called Opal, and I just schedule work time from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And after that time and before that time, I try to do things that are not working. I try to study, read a book, or do something like that. I'm trying. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm trying. I'm doing my best, you know? So you can download any app like that, or like schedule in your calendar for, like, for example, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm working. Then I have meeting with friends, and then I have like relaxing evening. But relaxing evening means doing something that will relax you and help you to relax and not to work even more. Because usually I think like if I'm gonna get all the work done in one day, then I will have 2 days of rest. But then what happens is I always find more work, which we all do, because we can find problems, any problems we need to solve like this. Solutions. not that fast. I don't know what it was. Next one, which I also struggle with, is learn to say no. If someone asks you, for example, to help them out with something, just say no. If someone asks you to organize something and you understand that you have no time and that you have other things you need to do, say no. I'm just saying this for myself because I've said a lot of yes. I've said so many yes. For example, can you help out with that? I'm like, yeah, sure. Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, sure. And now I'm struggling, and now I'm on a deadline because I need to finish this video and go because I have so many errands and so many projects I take part in, and I'm not complaining. I put myself in this. I'm not gonna let people down and say like, okay, bye, I'm not gonna do it, bye. No. I will try to learn to say no gradually. I'm learning to say no gradually. It's important because there's this quote, make sure that when you say yes to something, you're not saying no to yourself. And every time someone asks me something, I'm like, remember this. Don't get it out of your head. Remember this. And I'm actually better at this, I think. At least I'm trying, which is the most important thing. Next one is set realistic goals. I'm all for dreaming big and having like cool dreams and high dreams that a lot of people say, oh, they are not achievable. I'm all for it. But in order to achieve these dreams, you need to set goals that gonna not just you gonna do one thing and then like, whoop, there. No, because that will never happen. You need step by step and get there. I don't know what that is. It's kind of like letter. I'm doing like a letter thing and then you're there. How many steps? Like every move of each of my finger is different step and I'm just getting there, So they have to be realistic because you need to do them. You're not some fairy or magician that you're like, oh, I want $1 million. And you're like, you have it already. No, you need step by step to get there. If you were a magician, yeah, sure. You could skip this and don't set realistic goals because you're not a realistic human being. But since we're all humans, we need to do this, whether we like it or not. Next one is take regular breaks. And I mean it because they gonna help you so much. And your breaks, I'm gonna also remind you, scrolling on social media after working like for an hour, scrolling on social media for like 10 minutes is not break because it actually gives you even more necessary information. Do something like lay and just look at the ceiling. I know it's not fun. Do a dance. That sounds more fun. Nothing sounds as fun as scrolling social media, but please don't do it. For the love of God, don't do it. Just put on your favorite music and dance a little. Go for a walk. Take a little healthy snack. Do something, but do not scroll on social media and do not indulge even in more work, and don't say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna take a break after I'm gonna finish this project. No. Maybe in case if you're writing something and you have this idea, you need to get it out. Yes, sure. But other times, no, breaks are important. Yeah. For example, my dog sleeps like probably 15 hours a day. Like we go for a walk and then he sleeps because he understands the importance of breaks. Next one is practice delegating, which means you don't have to do all the tasks. Right now we have AI assistants, ChatGPT or anything like that, depends on the thing you need to do, and that's okay to give the task you need to do to ChatGPT. Doesn't make you less productive because we measure productivity in not the things we do, but in the time we spend working. And we're like, if I'm gonna give this to ChatGPT, I will have only an hour left to work and people will say I'm not productive and then I'm lazy and then I'm not doing anything. Who cares what they say? You got that thing done? Yes. Great. Productivity is not about the hours you worked. It's about the things you have done. Like the things you done with. Like, for example, you needed to finish writing a script and and maybe you had a little help from ChatGPT to help you with grammar or stuff like that, to check for grammar. And great, you saved your time because ChatGPT can check grammar, you know? So that's nothing better than it. And I don't know, it's just this whole mindset of like, if someone helps me, that it means I'm not sufficient enough to do it on my own. No, if someone helps you, that's fine, that's okay. You don't have to do everything on your own. And I do not know how to get this stigma of us, oh, I need to do everything alone, on my own, independent, out of our heads. But please, somehow get it out of your head, because it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay if, for example, I need to count how many words are in this article, you know, for whatever reason I need to do that, and ChatGPT can do that for me in like this. But I'm like, no, I cannot do that, because that's the only project I need to do for today, you know, and I need to work on it for 3 hours, because if not, I'm not productive. Stop. That's so infuriating, because I caught myself doing the same thing. I never had to count all the words in article, but similar to this. Yeah. And the last one is let yourself do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just lay on the bed and look at the ceiling, or like sit in the park and people watch, or, you know, it's so beneficial. It helps your creativity and stress levels and mental health and so many aspects of yourself to just sit and do nothing. And I don't remember who it was, maybe some famous painter, Picasso, or I don't remember. And he had this practice of doing nothing for 15 minutes. I'm gonna put who it was here, because I'm one internet search away from finding out who that person is, and that is this person. And he had this practice of like doing nothing for 15 minutes because it helped his creativity and stuff like that, and to clear his mind and to give him more ideas and stuff like that. So do that. And that is all I have for you for today. So yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe, or like this video. Maybe you have a friend who will benefit from this video. Maybe you haven't seen that friend in a month because they've been always working. So send them this video to remind them that, you know, toxic productivity doesn't suit you, my friend. Anyway, I have also a second channel if you want to check it out. It's gonna be somewhere in the description, and any of my social media is also in the description. And if you want to help out this channel, support it some way, it's also all in the description. People somehow don't read descriptions anymore, and that's a little sad. But anyway, I love you, and thank you for watching this video till the end, and I hope you're gonna have an amazing, healthily productive day. And it's also okay if you don't want to do any work today and you're just gonna lay in bed and watch TV, because you're human. So love you. Bye.